What if the end of the Stephen Curry era isn't near, but rather the beginning of a whole new cycle? It's hard to imagine a player like him in any role other than the leading one, especially after 17 seasons, 4 NBA titles, 2 MVP awards, and the all-time record for three-pointers made in league history. But perhaps the most surprising thing about Stephen Curry isn't what he's already accomplished. It's how much he still has left to achieve. A new statement this week is making the hearts of Dub Nation beat faster. And it comes from a source that carries the Curry name with the same pride and deep understanding. Del Curry, Steph's father and former NBA player, said the end is still far away. Very far. That decision will be his. Del said during an interview with PFSN. Most players retire when teams or the league say, "We can't use your services anymore." But with Steph, it's different. He still shoots perfectly, demands constant defensive attention, and creates space for his teammates. That extends career. He can play until he's 40. And there, in that simple sentence, might be the answer every Warriors fan had subconsciously been looking for. Because if Curry's time isn't ending yet, then neither is his legacy. Let's go back a bit. In 2009, when the Golden State Warriors selected Steph with the 7th pick in the draft, no one, absolutely no one, imagined that this skinny kid from Davidson would change the game forever. Not just the Warriors. The game itself. He wasn't the fastest, nor the strongest, but there was something in his eyes, a quiet confidence, an unshakable belief in his own shot. And then the revolution began. 2015, 2017, 2018, 2022. 4 titles. 3 of them alongside Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, under the leadership of Steve Kerr. A dynasty that redefined modern basketball, that forced the NBA to adapt to a new reality where 30-foot shots aren't a limit. They're just the beginning. Now, at 37 years old, Curry is about to start his 17th season with the Warriors. And while time seems to be catching up to everyone around him, he's still playing as if he's in his prime. What keeps it alive? According to Del Curry, the answer lies in what the numbers can't explain. He still has that competitive drive. And that's not going anywhere. He has the game, the will, so it's completely up to him. If you're watching this video, it's because you've lived this story with him. You saw Steph carry the team during the unanimous MVP season. You felt the sting of the 2016 finals loss. You screamed with every three-pointer that changed the game. And you cried like he did when he lifted the 2022 trophy. Because this isn't just the story of a player. It's the story of a team, of a city, of an identity. If you love the Warriors as much as we do, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Because this conversation is for those who lived every shot as if it were the last. Curry's current contract with the Golden State Warriors runs to the end of the 2025-26 season. By then, he'll be 38 years old. For many, that would mark the beginning of the end. But Del Curry's statement suggests something else. That decision won't come from the outside. It won't come from the front office. It won't come from the media. It won't come from age. It will come from him. And that in itself changes everything. Because if Curry truly intends and is capable of playing until he's 40, as his father believes, then the Golden State Warriors aren't closing a chapter. They're entering the final stretch of a saga that still burns with fire, still overflows with talent, and still craves victory. It's worth noting that other NBA legends managed to extend their careers successfully. Vince Carter, for example, played until he was 43. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won a title in his 40s. Kevin Willis spent more than 21 years in the league. But there's a fundamental difference between all those names and Curry. Stephen never wanted to leave. While many stars bounce around franchises at the end of their careers, Steph made it clear he wants to retire where it all began, in the Bay Area, with the Warriors logo on his chest. And that kind of loyalty is rare. It's priceless. It's the soul of this team. What does that mean for the coming years? Maybe it means the Warriors front office still has time to plan a transition. Or maybe it means the team can remain competitive around Curry, as long as he remains the gravitational center of the roster. But one thing is certain, the story isn't over. And maybe it's far from the end. What about you, fan? Do you believe Steph still has the fuel to compete at a high level for 3 or 4 more years? Do you think the team should keep betting on this core until his contract runs out? Or is it already time to think about what comes next? Let us know in the comments. Do you believe we'll still see Stephen Curry on the court at age 40? But while Stephen Curry's future now seems, for the first time, completely in his own hands, something is quietly and potentially devastatingly shifting on the other side of the map. For a long time, it was believed that the story between Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks was unbreakable. Mutual loyalty, championships won, a small city that embraced a giant talent. The kind of narrative that feels written to last until the end of a career. But as Warriors fans know all too well, nothing in the NBA lasts forever. Now, what once seemed unshakable may be on the verge of falling apart. And according to insider Shams Charania, the strange calm in Milwaukee may not be a sign of stability, but the silence before the storm. During his appearance on ESPN's Get Up, Shams cast a long shadow over the Bucks offseason and over the entire league. Giannis has been there for 12 years. The Bucks carry the weight of history with him, but now is the moment to see if they can reinforce this roster. He made it clear he wants to compete for championships. And if that doesn't happen, a resolution may only come at the end of the summer. That sentence alone changes everything, because it reopens a door many believe was already locked, and puts teams like the Golden State Warriors on high alert. Picture this scenario with the intensity it deserves. Curry, at 37 years old, still wanted to play until he's 40. A deadly point guard, hungry for victory, still commanding the ball. On the other side, Giannis, still in his physical prime, dominant on both ends of the court, but frustrated with the lack of ambition around him. If you're in the Warriors front office, how do you not look at this and, even discreetly, start running the numbers? But here's where things get complicated. Any team wanting to enter the Giannis sweepstakes must find the perfect balance between two opposing forces, acting now to improve the roster or waiting with risk and patience for one of the league's biggest prizes. For the Warriors, this dilemma is brutal. Going all in on the possibility of landing Giannis requires planning, sacrifice, and a delicate emotional chess match. Keeping cap space, holding on to valuable assets, and maybe even delaying decisions that could help Curry immediately, all for a chance that, according to Shams, will only be resolved at the end of the summer. By then, the draft and free agency windows will have closed. Players will have been traded. Rosters will have shifted. The NBA will have moved on. And yet, If you believe there's a real chance of pairing Giannis with Stephen Curry, how do you not take that risk? But the risk is real, and so is the clock. The Bucks have this offseason to show Giannis they can still compete at the highest level. And this isn't about just any move. This is about championship-level moves. If they don't deliver that, doubt becomes impatience. And impatience, as we've seen with other stars, becomes a desire to leave. In this context, Golden State finds itself once again at the crossroads only great franchises ever reach. The chance to reshape the league, or the burden of standing still and watching history be written by others. They've done it before. In 2016, when they brought in Kevin Durant to form one of the most dominant teams in history. And it's no coincidence that this comparison is being made again now. The impact of Giannis could be just as big, maybe even bigger, considering where Steph is in his career. But there's one key difference: time. Durant arrived in his physical prime, with Curry also at his peak. Now, we're talking about a potential partnership between a legendary veteran and a physical force at his zenith. A contrast that could create the perfect fit, or expose cracks that are hard to predict. And all of this leads back to the question that's been hovering over the Chase Center since the end of the season. What should the Warriors do now? If they truly believe Curry still has 3 or 4 more years at high level, then they must decide, strengthen now with smaller pieces, betting on continuity and another solid campaign, or wait, keeping the board clean to maybe go for the boldest checkmate of the post-Durant era. But waiting is risky, because there's no guarantee that Giannis will actually be made available. And even if he is, there's no guarantee that the Warriors will have the best offer. Other franchises are ready. Other scenarios exist. The truth is, right now, no one knows what the next move will be. Not the Bucks, not Giannis, not the Warriors. And still, the tension is already in the air. So, Dub Nation fan, would you hold on to your assets and wait until the end of summer for a chance at Giannis, risking missing out on other reinforcement along the way? Or do you believe the team should focus on strengthening Curry now, without depending on a move that might never happen? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you bet on the impossible again? Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications, because in the next video we'll dive into exactly what the Warriors would have to give up to enter the race for Giannis, and whether that would compromise the franchise's DNA. Because when you have Curry, every move is a chance at eternity. And when Giannis starts to move, the entire basketball world holds its breath.